I felt like it was not good enough. And, I feel like women in general, we just go through, and even men, I feel like everyone just goes through this. We get into our heads, we have all these doubts, and then we start creating these stories and these ideas, and we just kind of give up. And for me, that's how I felt a lot of times. I just didn't want to do it. I was exhausted mentally and even physically sometimes. But throughout it all, you just kept encouraging me, you kept pushing me, you kept telling me, like, stop like, block everything out,
The
just block
background
it out.
noise.
Yeah, the background noise. You kept telling me, you have to block that out and just really give it your all and give it a chance. And that's what I've been trying to do. And thanks to you for, believing in me and trusting me and having faith in me and really just being a blessing in my life.
Feeling
Um,
mutual.
uh, I love you.
I love you too. But like for you, like I mean, obviously, the battle that we had, and there was a
Mhm.
time where basically, where most people in that situation, you know, when someone goes dark on them the
Yeah.
way that you did, would just
Mhm.
be like, okay, peace. You know, when you and there was obviously a moment where, as I said, that I just sort of threw my hands up and I was like, okay, you know what, like I can't keep pushing someone who's constantly coming with excuses and reasons and things when they haven't even tried to take a gamble on themselves. And then where most people in that situation would have walked away, what did I do next?
You
When you
just have
had absolutely nothing, and what did I create when you had absolutely nothing? While you were going through your whole phase, and
oh
remember, there was never again any pressure. There was
yeah.
never the sense number one of like, hey, even though it is a service of like, hey, you know what, you should be, or feel like I'm just wanting this for the money.
Yeah.
Explain to people what happened next.
Um, you went out of your way and not even like, even when we were talking, you went and you started building my brand, building my website, and you were doing things that I didn't even know about, nor did I ask for. And by the time I was ready to just, come back into it and communicate and just talk about, growing again, I came back to my platform already built. And thanks to you, I definitely had a head start, um, which was very, like, it was out of, it was something that I hadn't experienced with people that I, thought were there for me. Like, you went out of your way to do something that prior to that I had never really experienced with any other agency or any other, like, management or anything. You really have an amazing, character about you that has given me the confidence to be able to work with you and just believe in you and believe in myself. And I don't know, I love you for
I
that.
love you back. I mean, so for people, number one, that like, for you, like obviously, after when you did finally get your head out of your ass and and get your head on straight, and then you were presented with a developmental contract, in regards to where I was like, okay, if you're wanting me to take the chance on you, which I've already done by creating all this stuff without telling you about it, without asking you for it, without asking you for even a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I was like, okay, you're gonna need to figure out, what your path is. And I obviously had one vision. You had millions of visions, but then you were trying to still, scatterbrain, trying to figure out, okay, which direction I want to go. Did you ever, in that time frame, from the time that you were presented with that contract and you signed that contract, explain to people, number one, after you sign your developmental contract, for those that are obviously maybe reaching out to you and asking people, you know, what is your experience with Alliance Entertainment? What is your experience with me? What is your experience with AMT? Is it a scam? Is it this? Is it that? Because obviously people, you know, always like to paint their experiences with other people in the same brush. For someone that maybe reaches out to you and wants to know what your experience so far has been from the time you started and what you've learned and what you've experienced, please explain.
I would say that it's become more of like a family. It's not even about, yeah, it is business, but I've built such a great connection with everyone that it's been really easy to be able to communicate what I want or have you communicate what you want and have, you know, the same visions and the same ideas, whether maybe you you want me to expand that I'm not ready for yet, but I mean, as long as you're on the same page, and we're usually always on the same page, um, it's a great place. And I have learned so much being able to work with you because you have given me all your years of experience and all the wisdom that you've collected throughout your career. And it's allowed me to grow not only like throughout my platforms, but also like mentally and just be able to like really push myself to places that I didn't do before. I would have never thought I would have been here. Oh my goodness, prior to meeting you. Like what?
But I mean, like for you, like for example, I mean, obviously, you know, there's a lot of people that obviously don't know the difference between an agency and management. And we, as you know, we have both in
Hmm.
our company and division wise and stuff like that. And for you, like obviously, you know, being in the fitness industry, what do you feel that like not just as a fitness person, but do you feel that like compared to other agencies and other companies that you've worked with or approached you, what would you say the difference is? And as you said, keyword family, which is true, but the difference is in the sense of what you've learned. Has it just been about fitness modeling per se, about the business, or have you learned other things with working with us compared to maybe working with somebody else that maybe doesn't have the same vision or looks at you as a number or just wants to take advantage of you for their own personal gains or money? Did you ever feel in any aspect that you were being used, or this was a disservice to you, or you weren't having uh, great experience with the people that you've met through the company, or through me, or just in general in the sense of like your journey so far over this last year?
Never. I never felt that way, honestly. I was, if anything, I was the one that was letting you down more than you were letting me down. I just, I feel like working with you has been amazing. You have been able to teach me so much about the industry. You've been able to teach me so much about like modeling and even acting, all these movies, like background stuff. You've told me about things within the industry, like cast and crew and all that stuff. And not only that, but your wisdom through your own life experiences and things that you've gone through and the stories that you share. Like every time we talk on the phone, we talk for at least an hour, two, three, like every time. So getting those conversations and having those times with you, I'm always getting information and I'm always learning. And through your experience, you have been able to teach me things that I didn't know before. And it's been amazing because not only have I been able to learn from you that way, but I've also been able to grow such a great connection with you and such a great relationship with you where you're calling me like your daughter and I'm like, you're like my pops, you know? Like it's such a great relationship. And I feel like no matter who wants to work with you or, you know, has the opportunity to work with you, they should take that as a like as a blessing and as a great thing because I've never experienced anything from you or from your company that has caused me or led me to believe that this is not for me or, you know, the only thing that has ever caused that was myself and my own doubt, not something that you have done where I felt like I don't want to work with him anymore or the company. But I feel like as long as there was open communication, which we always had, or through the times that we were good, and I
And
was
what
like,
and when in those situations, what was the thing that I said to you, the most overall, where I was like, you know, we can go at whatever pace you want, but
yeah,
what did I say to you? That is my only rule.
just get your portfolio done.
No, besides that, but in retrospect to, in the sense of if there was an issue, like for example, is there
Mm-hmm.
ever been a time, like obviously when people are in business
Mm-hmm.
together, there's a there's an off switch where
Yeah.
did you and for you, like in working with me and working with the company, and you were ever having a question or not sure about something, or even for example, like, you can tell people, for example, like in retrospect to the contract, when we did the contract signing,
Yeah.
what was that like, and explain to people like how my process is when working with me in retrospect to the contract signing.
Um, From what I remember, it was just whenever I was ready to commit and, give myself that chance and prove myself that I was going to be able to do this and develop myself within the 6 month period I had, that was something that I had to sign for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me that that's when I was ready to take that chance. And that was when I was ready to, do the things that I was asked of, which were like, get my portfolio ready and, start building myself up because I was an
Mm-hmm.
amateur. And being able to do that, it was like having you know, this thing on my ass that was always going to be there. And I had to prove not only to you, but to myself that I could do it. So that's what it was. It was, you know, a commitment I made to you and to myself.
And when we were going through the contract, and any things, like for example, how some people, number one, where there's the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things, and
Mm-hmm.
how when we presented the contract to you, and
Mm-hmm.
in retrospect to questions or anything on the contract,
It was
how
right.
transparent was I, and how transparent was our situation, saying, okay, what we want from you and what we expect. Was it did you ever feel that it was okay, this company is just wanting me to sign because they want my money, and did we even ask you for any money?
No, it was more like, here's this contract. Take as much time as you need to read it. If you have any questions or anything, like I can go over the whole thing with you. We can talk about everything that you need that clarification on. And once everything was 100% clear and I got everything figured out, I was able to sign. And even with that, it was just a developmental thing. It wasn't even like you were taking money from me or, I had to pay you anything or it was after money. Like it was nothing related to money, but more of here's an amateur ready to prove herself. And that's all it was. It was
Mm-hmm.
just a test to me and a test to myself to see if I was willing to commit to something that you saw in me that maybe I didn't really see in myself at the time.
And for you, like, so, like, for example, if somebody was to reach out to you and say, explain to them, you know, your experience with Alliance Entertainment and AMT Management and me, what would you say to them, and what advice would you give to someone that is standing in their own way, or coming up with excuses, or coming up with reasons, or coming up with whatever scenarios they have in their head, or the ones that, for example, who have, as we stated before, been fucked over